Hey everybody, welcome to KimmelsIrishPub.com. Time for another movie review. Tonight's movie review is The Disaster Artist. I don't know much about it. There's a big buzz around it. It's supposed to be a really good movie. And it's directed by James Franco, starring James Franco, Dave Franco, his brother. Listen to this. Seth Rogen is in it. Hannibal Buress, Bryan Cranston, Zac Efron, Melanie Griffin, Josh Hutcherson, just to name a few. I mean, there's some I'm skipping over here. Alison Brie. So, a lot of actors and actresses in this. And essentially, it's about two guys who meet in acting class and decide to work together to make this film, which becomes a cult classic. I don't know. I don't know much about this. This is what we're here to do. We're here to learn about it. And so, I'll watch it a little bit and let you know what I think and give you a better idea of what this truly is about. But before I do that, numbers. As of now, Rotten Tomatoes, 92% from the critics, 89% from the audience. IMDb has it down at a 7.9, but still pretty high for IMDb, so high expectation for this one. I'm kind of excited. But I'll get into it and maybe do a couple check-ins. I don't know. We'll see. Stick around. I'll be back. Hey everybody, I'll do a quick check-in here. The Disaster Artist. We're at the 40-minute and 44-second mark. It's interesting. It's kind of strange in a sense. James Franco and Dave Franco are the two stars. So they're the two who meet in acting school in San Francisco. So Dave Franco was struggling on breaking out of his shell, very shy. When he was acting, wasn't loose enough, and then James Franco goes up and he's called Tommy in the movie. Tommy and Craig, I think they are. You know, it's definitely Tommy for James Franco. And then he does he does some acting, and Dave Franco says, "Oh, I want to do a scene with you. I think you can teach me a lot, break me out of my shell," that kind of thing. They become friends, and then they decide to move to LA to try and become professional actors. Evidently, somehow, some way, James Franco has a lot of money. Tommy, his character, has a lot of money. He has a house in San Francisco and in LA, so they moved there to be roommates. And they're there for maybe a year or something like that, and they're not getting any parts or anything like that. Probably very similar to every actor who moves to LA. So they make the decision that they're going to go ahead and make their own movie, and using Tommy's money, and so they're starting down that path. They have written a script, and Tommy asks Dave Franco's character Craig to be in it. So he's the second lead, and Tommy's the lead. And now they're doing casting calls. They went out and they bought this equipment, that kind of stuff, and that's where it's going. So now they're going to film this movie. It's called The Room. In the beginning, before the movie starts, they had all these actors on and actresses, like Kristen Bell was on, talking about the Room, the movie that comes out of this, and how phenomenal it was. It's a cult classic and all that kind of stuff. So interesting, and James Franco's character is really strange. Like, only James Franco can play, but he's got long hair and he's got this accent and he talks funny. It's just strange. I don't know. So very interesting so far. Some funny parts, but what I do like is the fact that the two of them playing together. They're brothers in real life, and I think that's awesome that they get to do this together. And so, well, I'm going to keep going here for a little bit, but it's definitely original, and it's based on a true story. At least that's what it said in the beginning. It's based on a true story, so I'm pretty excited about that. So I'm going to keep watching here, and I'll check back in a little bit. So stick around. Hey everybody, the credits are over. And we watched The Disaster Artist, and no more check-ins. It was a bewildering film for me. So I watched the movie, and you kind of get the plot of it, and come to understand. So the movie that they eventually decided to make together is called The Room, and that really did happen. So this is all based on a true story of Tommy Wiseau, I believe is his name, who basically had enough money and felt he had enough talent to create his own movie, and that's what he did. And he created the movie The Room, and they say it's so bad that it's kind of got a cult classic showing. They show it every midnight, I think, in California, and I think a lot of people have seen this film. and it's a cult classic of some sort just because of how bad it is. So that's the background behind this. And James Franco plays Tommy Wiseau, who is, you know, an odd character in himself. He has some sort of accent. Nobody knows where he's from, when he was born, or anything like that. And that's true. So this movie, The Disaster Artist, is based on the making of The Room. And James Franco, I think, co-produced this, directed the whole thing, obviously started it as Tommy Wiseau. You know, they show at the end a comparison between what he was actually making on this movie compared to The Room movie that was back in 2003, side by side. And they are almost identical. Different actors and actresses, but they do it almost identically. So I don't know I don't think it's a comedy. I think there's comedic parts in it, but I think it's more of maybe a mockumentary. I don't know. I don't know what to think of it. Like, I think it's helpful now that you know this, and maybe you go out and watch The Room and know a little bit about it. I think it would have been more interesting if I would have known about this movie, The Room, and Tommy Wiseau, and everything about that. And then seeing this, I kind of did it in reverse. I watched this movie and was just confused. It was just odd, you know, definitely something I've never seen before. And so then when they played the parts next to each other, I was like, oh, it actually was a real movie. So I looked it up and found the background and looked up IMDb. The Room got like 3 stars, or, you know, in between 3 and 4 stars. So it's a very bad movie. I'm half tempted to watch that now. But Tommy Wiseau, The Room, he directs and stars in it, just like Franco did for this one. So it's just, it's a labyrinth of, of movies here intertwined, I think. I don't know. I think I'm not helping you. I think this is something that you might have to watch on your own. No kidding. I'm not going to go into any more detail on it. I would research The Room a little bit before you watch this movie. So whether you watch that one or not, at least maybe check out Wikipedia, Wikipedia, or wherever you want. I don't know, you know, and read a little bit more about that and the cult following and everything like that, and then maybe watch this. That would be my suggestion to myself. If I were to see this review, I think that would be helpful if you understood what that was all about, and then come and watch this movie. I mean, Franco was amazing. I thought he did a great job in 2 phases. One being Tommy Wiseau, because they show him later on, and he acts just like this guy did. So it was pretty good. And then the directing part of it, so much that, you know, he really put every detail into recreating the original Room with this movie. So side by side, I mean, they are almost flawless. So, you know, you see that at the end of this. But it's really about the journey, about making that film, how he acted as a director, as a producer. Very strange kind of thing. You know, and I don't want to go into any more. But, you know, you get it. It's about the journey, how they got there, how they created the movie. The end, I mean, so nobody knows who he is. The other thing, they don't know he has a lot of money, where he got the money from. So, I don't know. Really interesting. Research The Room if you want, and then watch this movie. I think that'll be helpful. But that's all I can give you. I don't even know what to rate it at this point. I had to think about this one a little bit longer. Not that it really matters, but you know, I think it's going to be up for some awards, or, you know, I think it might have won some, whatever. Yeah, I don't know. That's it. A tough one tonight. Sorry, everybody. But hopefully you got a little bit out of this. I'll see you next time. KimmelsIrishPub.com.